All
We're
right.
clear to go.
Okay. Now that everyone has their snacks, and if you want to follow along with the work, it's like a little workbook. You can if you want to, but we'll touch on everything. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Tracy Miller, and I'm really excited to do my very first nutrition talk here at CrossFit Worcester and talking about gut health. Because gut health is not only important, but this month is actually like National Gut Health IBS month.
Wow.
So we thought, why not tie everything together? Okay, so here at CrossFit Worcester, we've partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition, which is, that's how we support our clients using their framework and their guided, tested, proven, habit-based program. So we believe that something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on simple, habit-based approaches. We know that helping you become your best and healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat or going to the gym a couple times a week. We focus on a holistic approach, which addresses nutrition and stress, management, mindset, support system, and lifestyle, as you can see in this lovely little wheel here. So obviously if one of these wheels is missing, it's not gonna move as smoothly as it would when they're all pieced together. So, Healthy Steps Nutrition has helped over 45,000 people all around the world take control of their health. So, one thing that we need to start focusing on to find success with our bodies is our gut health. So, did you know that our body contains trillions of different bacteria? When we hear the word bacteria, we kind of think of this with a negative connotation a lot of the times, but bacteria in and around our body is crucial for our health, especially our gut health. So when we discuss bacteria in our gut, we're going to refer to this as your gut microbiota. And the term gut microbiota basically just refers to the many microorganisms that live within the human GI system, commonly known as either gut flora or gut microbiome, if you've heard those terms as well. These microorganisms play a crucial role in maintaining digestion and overall health, including metabolism, immune system, hormone balance, and even mental health. So the gut microbiota is a complex and dynamic system that can be influenced by a variety of factors, including diet, lifestyle, and genetics. In order to gain a better understanding, it's important to recognize that our gut bacteria consists of various populations of types of bacteria that can contribute to our overall health. So various groups of organisms are in competition for resources to sustain and proliferate, and the nourishment we obtain from our diet and surroundings is a contributing factor to this rivalry. So here's an example for you. Numerous studies have examined the Western diet and how it impacts our gut health. Studies found that a Western diet, which is typically high in, as we know, processed and refined foods, saturated fats and sugars, leads to a decrease in the diversity of the good bacteria and a higher count of the harmful species. Furthermore, studies have revealed that following this dietary trend can lead to a reduction in the production of short-chain fatty acids within the body. These acids they're essential for maintaining the health of our gut as they regulate the immune function and your metabolism and the overall well-being of your gut lining. This negative shift leads to things like inflammation, gut dysbiosis, which is basically, everything's out of whack, poor gut lining, and increased risk for complications including obesity, metabolic disorders, inflammatory bowel disease, and even certain cancers. So contrarily, research has found that eating more whole foods, which focus on minimally processed ingredients, has had a positive impact on gut health by promoting more diversity of the healthy gut microbiota. This healthy shift leads to reduced gut inflammation, improved gut barrier function, and reduces the risk of the chronic diseases that I just mentioned earlier. Research is finding that what people are consuming in their diet, this is wild to me, what people are consuming in their diet has a more powerful impact of the makeup of their microbiome than their genetics, which is wild to me because normally genetics, we can't change our genetics, and people always use that as kind of like a crutch, like, oh, I just have poor genetics, but in in this instance, your diet has a greater impact and overrides that, which I think is wild. So we have a baseline understanding of the importance of healthy gut and how our food can impact it. So how do you start to trust your gut? Let's talk about the 3 tips that we can start working on today. So tip number 1 is focus on whole foods first, with an emphasis on a variety of fruits and vegetables. After talking about how our gut or how our diet has an impact on our gut, it helps us to understand why focusing on whole foods is the very first tip. So including whole foods in your diet, such as fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, whole grains, those can provide your body with dietary fibers that are essential nutrients and aid in the growth of good bacteria in your gut, like the bifidobacteria and lactobacillus, if you've ever heard those terms before. Studies have found that whole foods diet can increase the production of the short chain fatty acids that I mentioned before, which again just are really important for your overall health and gut health specifically. Those short chain fatty acids have anti-inflammatory properties, and they're involved in regulating that immune function and while maintaining the integrity of that gut lining and regulating your metabolism as well. So additionally, when you consume a variety of fruits and vegetables, those also provide our bodies with things like antioxidants that protect the lining of our gut by controlling that inflammation. This decreased inflammation allows for that healthy bacteria to flourish. So if you struggle to eat more fruits and vegetables, aim to start slow. For example, if you're currently only eating about 1 cup, or as you can see here in the diagram, which is about like 1 fist of veggies at dinner, next week, maybe make it a goal to add that same amount at lunchtime by prepping extra veggies when cooking dinner the night before. Once you start to do that and feel comfortable, you can maybe have 2 fists of veggies at dinner while maintaining that 1 fist at lunch. And then once that starts to feel easy, maybe you can go ahead and add 2 fists of vegetables, or roughly half your plate at lunch and dinner time. So just a couple things that I like to do to include fruits and vegetables. Fruits, if you pair it with things like yogurt or nuts or something, or I'm a big smoothie girl, so I love to make smoothies, and you can even throw vegetables in smoothies too, and you won't even know, like spinach or kale or something like that, or cauliflower rice. Pop that in there as well. So another benefit of eating more whole foods may increase your fiber intake, which brings us to tip number 2, is consume pre and probiotics. Pre and probiotics play a really important role in gut health. Prebiotics are basically non-digestible fibers that are fermented bacteria in the gut, which allows them to grow and multiply. So kind of think of this as the food for the bacteria. Probiotics are the actual live microorganism that provides us with the many benefits that we've already discussed. So starting with prebiotics or fiber, a study published in 2017 found that fiber allows our healthy gut bacteria to thrive, leading to thicker mucus walls and decreased inflammation, leading to better digestion. Researchers searched for diets high in fiber to get a better understanding when they actually came upon a Tanzanian tribe, which are one of the last hunter-gatherer tribes in the world. And they found that their diet consisted of a way high amount of fiber, which is 100 grams of fiber per day. And as a result, their gut biome was found to be packed with so many different diverse bacteria. But that being said, 100 grams is a lot of fiber per day. So don't think that you need that much fiber in your diet. That will lead to GI upset, gas, bloating, constipation. So really we should be aiming for roughly 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. So foods that are considered great prebiotics include things like fruit, bananas, and vegetables like greens, onions, garlic, as well as nuts and whole grains. Probiotics can be found in things like yogurt, kefir, fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kombucha, tempeh, and some cheeses that say like live cultures or active cultures. And for probiotics, it's recommended to consume anywhere from like 10 to 20 billion CFUs, which is just culture forming units, if you've never heard that term before, to support healthy gut and strong immune system. So the final tip for your gut health, which might be a little surprising, is managing your stress. So recent research has shed light on the connection between gut health and mental health. It's become really clear that these two are closely linked and can impact one another in various ways. So I'm sure you're thinking, why is that? So the gut and brain are connected through what's called the gut-brain axis in your body, which is just kind of a complex communication system that involves systems like the nervous system, immune system, and your endocrine system. Our gut is providing this access with neurotransmitters and hormones and signaling molecules that influence our brain and behavior. So basically, when we have poor gut health, we've discussed that can lead to things like inflammation, and that inflammation can then affect our brain, leading to mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, and even some cognitive issues as well. So during our conversation, we touched upon the importance of gut health, aiding digestion. In cases of poor gut health, deficiencies in essential nutrients such as omegas, B vitamins, and magnesium can occur, and those three things have also been linked to depression as well. They did one randomized control study that put this to the test, and this is also very interesting to me, being in the science realm as well. They found a surprisingly quick recovery in participants with depression, and the study found that when their participants were provided with 0.4 milligrams of vitamin B12, 0.8 milligrams of folic acid, and anywhere between 125 to 300 milligrams of magnesium every day, that led to a rapid recovery from major depression in 1 week's time. Whoa. Which is, isn't that absurd? That's crazy to me. 1 week. Now, obviously, you should be, when you're adding supplements to your diet or anything to like try to help with something else that's going on in your body, always discuss that with your doctor first, disclaimer, before just starting to add stuff. But kind of a good thing to keep in mind, if something's going on in your body, look at all these beautiful vitamins and minerals and all these things that can help in a more natural way. So tying this back to stress management, studies also show that our gut influences the release of hormones, more specifically the stress hormone cortisol. This dysregulation can contribute to mental health complications as well. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that we can maybe manage our stress. The first one we're going to talk about is practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply a way to be present in your surroundings, your thoughts, your behaviors. Some favorite ways to practice mindfulness, including things like box breathing, meditation, or even yoga. Number 2, move your body, which I know a lot of you have already done today. Exercise is a powerful way to manage stress. So exercise, as we know, reduces our cortisol, which is that stress hormone we talked about, and increases those feel-good endorphins in your body. If working out kind of feels like too much, just maybe try going on like a 15-minute walk after lunch or after dinner. And lastly is prioritize self-care. This is a big one. We absolutely need to take time for ourselves every single day. So maybe try reading a book before bed instead of scrolling social media. Easier said than done, but spend more time outside in nature. So go for a hike or have a picnic or play around with your kids or grandkids, and ensure that you're connecting with friends and family on a regular basis. So now that we've explored 3 tips you can start focusing on to improve your gut health, let's take a moment to discuss HSN's 3 core principles that have changed the lives of a lot of people. So number 1 is focus on whole foods first. I know we've talked a lot about eating whole foods today. We need to focus on those whole foods options and less processed food packaged with a lot of sodium, fat, and sugar. Again, a simple way to start doing this is just kind of reshaping your plate using the plate method, like kind of we've talked about with the vegetables and the amount per lunch and dinner. Number 2 is focus on a balance of macronutrients. So when we talk about balance, we mean does every meal and every snack consist of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats? Those are your 3 big macronutrients. And pairing each meal and snack with all 3 of those things will help keep you fuller for a longer period of time. Most people feel their best while fueling their body with roughly 40% carbs, 30% fat, and 30% protein. But everyone varies a little bit. Those are just kind of the general guidelines. And number 3 is limit the number of processed carbs and sugar. This is also loud. I teach CPR and I talk about this in my CPR class too, but the AHA recommends no more than 6 teaspoons, 6 for women, and 9 for men per day, okay? So the average person actually consumes 150 pounds of sugar per year, which if you break that down per day, is 46 teaspoons per day. And the recommendation is 6 for women and 9 for men. So there's no surprise why sugar is so addicting, because it's hidden in everything we eat. Okay, so now we're gonna just kind of go over some FAQs. Number 1, do I need to take supplements? After hearing about some of the studies we've talked about today and focusing on pre and probiotics, obviously it's kind of natural to wonder if supplementation is right. It's not always necessary to take supplements to meet your nutritional needs. While they can be helpful in a lot of ways, in some cases it's generally better to get those nutrients from whole foods whenever possible first. Whole foods are going to provide you with a variety of nutrients, including vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, and they're all going to work together to promote a healthy well-being. Additionally, whole foods also contain other beneficial compounds that supplements probably aren't going to have, such as phytochemicals, which have been shown to have anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties as well. Taking too many supplements can actually be harmful to your health, because some supplements are going to interact with medications if you're taking certain medications, and too high of doses of some supplements can be toxic. So if you're concerned about meeting your needs, again, another disclaimer, work on that whole foods balanced diet first that we've already discussed. And if you have a specific nutrient deficiency or think that something's a little bit out of whack, just talk to your primary care doctor or a healthcare professional, and then they can get you kind of on the right path with supplementation. So I love this one. What if I don't like veggies? Okay, so I'm a vegetarian, so people tell me that a lot, like, oh, how do you eat so many vegetables? I like them, but I want to challenge everyone and say, what if you just haven't found the way you like vegetables? If you try roasting your vegetables for a nice crunch rather than just kind of getting them all mushy, because I don't like mushy vegetables really, but or using a seasoning that's really good that you're excited about. And then, like we've already talked about, I'm a big smoothie person, so if you want to throw some into smoothies, some fruits, vegetables, it's a really good way to just, especially if you're busy and on the go, taking that smoothie and having all the nutrients you need right there. Okay, last one, where should I start? And that is an excellent question. So I want you to start with just one thing at a time. When we focus on one thing, you're gonna be 80% successful to maintain that one thing. When you start focusing on 2 things, you're gonna be less than 30% successful to maintain that one thing. And if you try to do 3 things, you're gonna be less than 5% successful, okay? So today we discussed the many reasons why we should focus on gut health, and including improved digestion, overall health, stronger immune system, to decrease our risk for chronic illnesses and improve mental health. So as you think about the 3 tips that we talked about, which is eating whole foods, increasing pre and probiotics, and managing your stress, where do you personally feel like you have the most room for improvement, and how can you start to take action? So maybe you're thinking, all of this sounds really great, but I really need support and accountability. That's really awesome, because that's exactly why we have nutrition coaches here and why we have HSN's program. So, I mean, you're gonna work one-on-one with a coach here to get your personalized support and accountability. And that's kind of what sets our program apart from like all these other programs, because we just want to walk beside you to help get you to where you want to be on your health and wellness journey. So, yeah. Here's a couple of our local people who have done the nutrition coaching here, and just their incredible results from what they've seen. So.
You can skip past those too. You can
Okay.
look at our reviews online if you want.
If you want, you can look at a review online. So, yeah, I obviously am the newest coach here, so I am opening spots for my nutrition coaching. If you want to sign up for a free intro or anything like that, I have 5 spots available. And again, we would work one-on-one to create your plan specifically tailored for you. Doing that one step at a time, like we talked about, to become successful. And yeah, I'm just really excited that I got to be here today to talk to you guys about some gut health, because I think it's really important and a really cool subject to talk about. And hopefully you guys learned a little something and had some good snacks and can take that to your everyday life.
I like the curtsy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fermented vegetable? Like sauerkraut, kimchi, what kinds of things do you?
I am not a sauerkraut gal
Okay.
at all. At all. I do like kimchi a lot. Let's see what else.
What other options are there?
That's a good question. Let's see. I know that I do eat. I know tempeh was in that list. It's not really like super fermented. Kombucha. I like kombucha a lot. I haven't.
Kombucha has too much sugar in it.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on. So my sister-in-law has like made her own kombucha. So like, if I do have it, it's usually hers. I don't not necessarily buy the ones in the store. I want to try to make my own to see how that goes, because I have recently started like make my own sourdough, and I make we have all these things. So I'm trying to like learn how to make things myself. So kombucha is definitely on my list. But yeah, I know sometimes like the store-bought one, there's like a lot of extra sugar and stuff like that, and so you do have to kind of be mindful. But yeah,
Are pickles an option?
pickles.
I eat a lot of pickles.
I mean, I love pickles.
They're fermented.
Love
Yeah,
pickles.
great.
Actually, Donnie and I were just talking
What
about that last
kind?
night.
I do dill.
Um,
Yeah.
making your own
Like pickle spears.
Yeah, you can make your own pickles.
Usually soaked in vinegar.
Yeah. There's
Vinegar?
another. Donnie said there's another way to make them, but
Mhm.
we're not quite there yet. Kefir. She was telling me that we could
Huh?
make your own kefir.
Uh-huh.
Kefir, however you pronounce it. Kefir. Okay, that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
I hope that's right.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, I was just wondering because it's like when I think about fermented, I think kimchi and sauerkraut, and I can't think of anything else. So
Yeah. Yeah, those are kind of the 2 big ones. But yeah, I guess like kombucha would be one.
So just pickling anything, like pickled cabbage.
Yes.
Mhm.
Pickling
Yeah.
anything has got to be
Correct.
fermented.
Yeah.
Yes?
Beets.
Some do
Correct.
Pickled
Yeah.
beets.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like.
My grandma does that. Beets. Those are red.
That is one vegetable I'm not a fan of. Beets.
but is it the texture or is it
It's
the,
actually okay. So
Yeah.
pickled beets I don't like,
Right.
but if you pull a beet straight out of the ground, I'll eat it.
and chop it up, put it in
Yes.
salad? Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally different flavors.
Because it's like a radish versus a
Yeah.
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 I don't know if I would eat a beet right now. No.
It's it really kind
Highly
of like
recommend.
radish. Just a very sugary radish.
Fresh radish.
I have a question. Because
Yes.
you are a registered nurse as well.
Yes.
You are.
I am.
Yes.
Oh yay!
Yes.
Yay!
There you go. Yay! Thank you for your service. All things. I'm curious. The gut lining, when they talk about inflammation, does that like when your gut is inflamed? Does that also mean bloating? Like, is that the bacteria situation going on down there when people experience bloating?
Yeah, that definitely plays a factor into it. I mean, yeah, especially as women,
I know.
we are all very familiar with bloating.
Yes.
But yeah, that gut lining, if you're just eating all of that nonsense food that's not contributing to helping with any inflammation, it's just gonna
And it's a combination because there's the physical inflammation.
Yes.
And then there's also the gas.
Yes.
So you've got
So it's like
both
a-
kinds
yeah.
of bloating happening
Feel
at the same
that.
time.
Yeah. and
Very
it's-
much.
They're
Yeah.
both working against you.
Right.
And is that all, I was gonna say, is that all gut health? It's what you're eating.
To some degree. I
Yeah.
mean, in large part, but not completely. Right?
Yeah.
It's when you start getting into like fecal transplant and all of those interesting
Yeah.
things, where is it again back to genetics versus
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, genetics, like we did, like it does play a role in your overall like makeup. But I know a lot of people who have had IBS who have just changed their diet, and like it doesn't ever go away, but their symptoms are vastly improved and manageable. So something to think about. I know that a lot of people have added like pre and probiotics into their diet who have IBS, and like they don't have any symptoms and haven't had them for months, whereas they would get symptoms, you know, a couple times a week, and it was like almost debilitating for them. So yeah, food definitely plays a huge role in a lot of things, but especially with gut health, you know, just kind of regulating everything and making sure that things are smooth in there.
and some of it too, when people say genetics, they're also talking about culture, like how they grew up, what they were eating when they were a baby, right?
Yeah.
Like your genetics, sure, but it's also, well, I grew up in a household with these people who fed me these foods and that's what they ate, so we all look alike,
Yeah.
right? We all, everybody in my family's obese. Well, sure, genetics plays a role, but were you also eating
Like were you
nothing
eating
but
fast
mac and
food
cheese
every
all day, every day, right? I mean, it just depends on what your nature and nurture were.
Yep,
So.
absolutely.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you do a smoothie or you are eating fruits every day, how you measure your fruits? Because fruit has a lot of sugar, some has less sugar, and they're way different. So when you make your smoothie or you are trying to eat fruits every day, how you measure how much you eat that?
I'm not the type of person who like physically measures their food like for macros and stuff.
I don't
That's
like that
a
either.
little too stressful
Yeah.
for me. I do log my food. I have been for probably like 2.5 weeks now, just to get myself, you know, aware of what I'm eating, which is really like for me personally has been helpful, because it's kind of got like diary log. But as far as like measuring the food, even though fruit does have a lot of sugar in it, it's at least natural sugar. It's better because you're getting that fiber and everything else, and those good carbs from the fruit that you need. Especially if they're fresh fruits. I'm a big frozen fruit person for smoothies because I like the consistency a little better. But yeah, if you get fresh fruits and vegetables, they have different properties than if you like bake them or if they're frozen or stuff like that sometimes. But
I can add something to this. So, if you look, we actually have a handout that I can get you.
Yeah.
We talk about fruit. There's a glycemic index that they talk about. If you put a very ripe yellow banana in your smoothie versus a green one, there's
Yeah.
going to be more sugar in the yellow one versus the green.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I personally,
found some for yellow banana. Check it out.
Siri, ain't nobody talking to me.
thanks Siri. Okay, so
All right, so Google's
Brother.
listening.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening. No, so I steer towards the berries. The berries are strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry. Those ones have enough fiber, but are also lower in sugar.
Antioxidant.
Yep, high antioxidant. That it's pretty safe. You put those in, you can put more than you could if you had a banana. If you're doing a banana, I'd do half a banana.
Okay.
The other thing you can use, I wouldn't do more than a fist, or like even your, your body is a great measuring tool, by the way. My husband's hand is bigger than my hand. He needs more food all the time. But if you put a cup of berries or a cup of fruit in your hand, that's going to be the right amount for you.
Okay.
Versus trying to think like, should I do a fourth of a cup or a half a cup or a cup? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fit it in your hand.
that's like
That's for you.
That's too stressful to try to
It
measure
can be.
everything
Blah.
for me.
Yeah.
I
I just kind of eyeball it.
I'm
like,
struggling
okay, that
in
looks about right.
between.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
I'm struggling in between. Either measure everything precisely or like.
Well,
Yeah.
for some people, it's a personality thing.
Yes.
You have
Exactly.
anxiety if you don't measure.
Yeah.
And then some people
Yeah.
have anxiety
Yeah,
if they
it's
do
Right, do
measure.
you want the data or do you not? Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But I'd steer to, I can get you a food chart that actually shows the recommendation for different
Yeah.
glycemic impact of fruits, the different ones.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Red grapes are surprisingly low glycemic fruit.
Compared to green? Compared to,
Oh, I don't know. This is on my list for low
Probably
glycemic
compared
fruit.
to
can't-
the
I
cotton
can't do
candy
the
grapes at all.
And watermelon is like mainlining sugar.
But it's so much water.
It's
But I mean, there's so much sugar.
I know.
Yeah.
Sugar and water. It's God's gift to us in the summertime.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of nice on a hot day. But any other questions?
I do. I have a question about the pre and probiotics. Can you go back over and talk about that again? Prebiotics are.
So prebiotics are like your fiber, right?
Okay.
And when you have those prebiotics, the probiotics, when you think of probiotics and like probiotic yogurt and stuff like that, that's going to be your actual live like microorganisms in your body like working, right? And those prebiotics are basically the fuel and the food for those live cultures, if that makes sense.
oh my gosh, so we have like a live sourdough thing in our belly that we're feeding.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And if anyone makes sourdough, you know.
I love it.
watching your little
Okay.
starter
Gotta
get all
feed my
baked
gut today. Did you guys all feed your starter?
I gotta get mine started.
I know. I need to. We gotta baby it.
That's a really good way to think of it, though.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a container to do sourdough.
Did
I
you?
just haven't committed.
It's kind of overwhelming, honestly, at first, but it's super easy.
It
Once you
is
start doing
easy
it.
unless you leave town and leave your husband to feed your starter and he
Oh,
doesn't.
then
I-
no,
I
no
wouldn't.
Then I
way.
found out you can just stick it in the fridge.
Yep.
I didn't know that, so.
I usually, if we're going away for a weekend, I'll feed it and then I'll pop it right in the fridge.
Yeah.
But
We were talking about that like it's alive.
it is. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, I know it's alive, but
It's like a kid.
It
like
is.
You gotta
You have
feed
to,
it so.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim had a question.
The adult.
What's the difference between peanut butter and like almond nut butters? Like a lot of like things like healthy things are like calling for like nut butters now opposed to like peanut butter. And I've like tried to like compare like the labels and like I don't see a whole like big difference. So I'm just wondering like what
So I think a
is.
lot of the time, I think it depends too on the person. Like I know we talked about like your son's allergic to nuts, so that might be one thing is people are gravitating more towards those if they have an intolerance or an allergy to like a specific type of nut. When I made this and I bought the peanut butter for this yesterday, I did like the all natural like Smucker's peanut butter, but I did compare it to the almond butter and it was actually the peanut butter was better. Yeah.
that's what I like looked at too and like I thought that it was better too, but I'm like, well maybe I'm missing something.
I think the key is all natural
Okay.
Yes.
because if not, they are adding sugar to it.
If you
Okay.
get like Jif peanut butter,
Yep.
which I know I grew up on, I love Jif,
Yep.
but that label is gonna look a heck of a lot different than like the natural peanut butter.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
You just gotta get the fancy peanut butter.
Literally, the only ingredients in the peanut butter for this was peanuts
Yes.
Yeah.
and a little bit of salt.
Yep.
That's it. So, yeah. Any other questions?
All right, let's do a class on making kombucha.
Once I figure it out, I will gladly do that.
Jessie said she was making hers. Jessie O'Neill said she was making
Oh.
hers. So
I